I had been a commercial lawyer before I joined the district court. I was immediately struck by the number of defendants who continued to reappear. They cycled through the system, mainly for relatively low-level offending. They'd be sentenced, they'd breach their sentence and so be brought back for resentencing, and often ended up with a sentence of imprisonment. And I couldn't believe the futility of what I saw, and failed to understand why the system was not addressing the issues that contributed to the offending. Surely, it seemed to me, there was a need to identify what those issues were to try and make sure that the offending was not repeated.
Homelessness being the bottom line, immediately up against vagrancy charges. There's the liquor ban through the city, and a lot of these people have got issues with alcohol. Alternatively, they just need to get to sleep, and that might just take a little dram of something or whatever. It's this revolving door in the court. They're going to end up in court. What we have to do is stop that door turning, pick them up, and get it and get a plan in action, get the thing sorted.
The Special Circumstances Court, I think you'd have to say, is probably one of the best things I do as a judge. Just from a selfish point of view, you get to see results. You know, you get to know a defendant really well, you get to figure them out, you get to crack that nut, you know, that is keeping them in the criminal justice system. And once you crack that nut, you realize, well, you've done a service to the person, because they're not going to come back into the criminal justice system. You've done a service to the criminal justice system, because there's one less defendant it has to worry about. And you feel like you've actually accomplished something, kind of within your lifetime, you know, within a few months.
It's given me a sense of belonging in society. Prior to the special circumstances, I didn't believe I belonged in society. I believed that I belonged in an institution for the rest of my life.
Hi, my name's Leah Davison. I work as a lawyer here in Wellington, and I've been involved with the Special Circumstances Court for about the last 7 years. I got involved with that through Her Honour Justice Susan Thomas, who came up with the idea of a Special Circumstances Court here in Wellington.
I was a district court judge at the Wellington District Court. At the time, there were a number of specialist courts which had been set up. The Court of New Beginnings in Auckland, the domestic violence courts, and resourcing had all gone into the establishment and running of those courts. A decision was taken that there shouldn't be any more of those courts for the time being, until they were bedded down and there had been the opportunity to monitor how successful they were. But I wanted to do something, and I wanted to do it as soon as I could. So I approached Jamari Doog, the Chief District Court Judge, and asked her to support my initiative on the basis that I would not call on any more resources. I would run the court effectively in my own time, using social agencies to support me. And she was very supportive of that idea.
If he hasn't got a house yet and no one's given him an aftercare plan, well, that's just ridiculous.
This meeting that takes place the day before the Special Circumstances Court sits is intended to bring all the agencies together. I get reports on each individual defendant.
He's so young, but he just doesn't seem to get it. And so is there any fetal alcohol, and do we get a section 38 for that?
I absolutely think there is, and I mean, I'm no expert, but I think there was something very wrong in his brain cells.
Yeah.
I really do. He just doesn't
get
it.
So we have their lawyers, we have the prosecutors, as well as the social services, all give me a steer on what the defendant's been doing, and then that helps me prepare for what I will do to them in the morning. I'm remanding you through to the 6th of March at 10 o'clock. I've noted here that you've got an appointment with PACT. That is good.
See, the thing about special circs is that people talk to the judge, I can't believe it, and that there's nothing complicated about that. It's because the judge has said, hi, how are you? How are you doing? Okay, you've got this problem, that thing. Okay, well, I think you're doing great with that. Pat yourself on the back for that bit. You've got to fix that, but now we'll do that, and I'll see you next month. Good on you. See you later. Nice to meet you.
It offers you a chance to actually make your life, improve your life with the support that you need rather than just being the criminal.
So over the months, I build a relationship with the defendants, and they tell me what's been happening. And quite often at the end of their rehab or whatever it is that we've asked them to do, if it's been successful, I'll then sentence them. And I can see this has just made such a difference to you. You've got the biggest grin on your face now because you feel so good.
It runs once a month, first Tuesday of every month at 10 o'clock. The defendants turn up here at court. We gather everyone together, make sure everyone's okay, and at 11 o'clock we go into court and we start the process. Why Special Circumstances Court is different than other courts is that the idea is to try and prevent people coming back. That's the sole purpose of the court, is stop them offending, stop them coming back.
I'm happy and prepared to sentence you today and to get you out of the criminal justice system, hopefully for good,
I know that I get really nervous, and I act really nervous a lot of the time, and going up behind that glass thing was really scary, and obviously I was freaking out the whole time, but the judges would always say hi and you're doing really well, and just make me feel a lot better about it, that I wasn't just in trouble all the time, or I wasn't, I didn't need to be scared.
When I came to Special Circumstances, I was given an opportunity. I was humanised by judges complimenting me and encouraging me not to reoffend, and that meant a lot to me. And I would like to see that happen to a lot of vulnerable people who have come from the type of background I come from. I've come from a background of child abuse, sex abuse. I've been institutionalised as a child. From the age of 5 right till I was 14. As a 14-year-old, I went into Mount Eden prison. As a 16-year-old, I was in Party-Miramore maximum security prison, and I've spent the rest of my life in there since. With Special Circumstances, I feel on top of the world of what they've done for me, and what Special Circumstances has created in my life to progress me further in my life in a positive way.
I mean, going through the Special Circumstances Court, I don't know, I've just everything's changed. My job's changed, how I do things has changed, my outlook has changed, what I want to do for the future has changed as well. So beforehand I wasn't really thinking about my future, all I was doing was thinking paycheck to paycheck, day to day. And then after going through the court and everything like that, I actually plan for the future, and I don't live day to day. I don't want to get back to a place that I would end up like I was before.
This court requires the defendants to go through a number of steps aimed at the rehabilitation. They have to go to rehab, they have to go to WINS, they have to sort themselves out, and they have to want to do it as well. So in many ways, we're asking them to do way more. To my mind, you've done everything right. There's been no further offending since you've been in this court.
It's a hard court, but it's meant to be hard because we don't start off on an easy footing, so it's meant to be difficult.
It is an approach which works, it holds people accountable, and it prevents reoffending.
What we do in the Special Circumstances Court, I think, could be extended to the rest of the country.
We're helping people to look after themselves and eventually their families, and we're helping them to get out of a system that sucks, really. It's pretty miserable being someone who's caught up in a criminal justice system for any amount of time. So we're helping them personally and usually, as I say, their immediate families from that. Financially, well, that's a no-brainer really, because if people keep offending, the cost of their offending to our country is huge, culminating, if it does, in imprisonment. Well, we know that that's huge.
I think we live in an unforgiving society. I think that society as a whole have got no idea what the consequences of jail does to young people. I don't think they realise that by putting young people in prison that they're going to be nurtured into up-and-coming criminals.
What we need to do is to make sure that when someone comes out of prison, they have the necessary supports around them to help them not lapse back into reoffending.
We've got this idea, take them away, separate them, and we'll all be okay. Well, we won't be, because they're going to come out, and if we don't fix it when they come out or when they reintegrate, chances are it's going to be a sorrier story than when they were first taken out of the community. One of the huge benefits of SCC is that it is bringing the community into the court and the court into the community. So it's bringing those two a little bit closer together, because we have huge community involvement in SCC. That's how it's still running.
This is your last stop. This is it. Special circumstances, you get one shot. If you're not motivated to change, the staff that work around you will know that. And you can go back to a normal court and go to jail.
If it were mainstreamed, it does strike me that if you had the opportunity to look at every defendant who's charged with something and figure out why they did the thing they've been charged with, address those underlying issues, we would have a much better society with less reoffending in it.
The benefit of the approach is not only that it assists the defendant, but it makes our community safer in the long run if there is no more offending.
These people do need help. I needed help. I didn't know I needed help. I never asked for help. But obviously people around me saw my potential and offered me the help that was required. And look where we are now. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so proud of the people that I work around.